but while balancing that, academically also third year was the toughest, because since we were not there in the second semester, that means all our like academic work had to be completed in the first semester, and that means like doing so many projects, and like I think at some point we had to handle like 10 or 12 subjects. So just imagine, because our
that teachers asked us when we are little, what is your ambition to be? So was that your ambition in those
no, because it kept on changing. When you are small, it's always like, I think maybe it's like a Sri Lankan thing, that all you know about like being an engineer, lawyer, or a teacher. So when I was very little, I mostly saw teachers, of course, when we are school.
So hello everyone, welcome you all to the friendly conversation with a new acquaintance, but you ask Quality with a non-stranger. So I'm Dithmeena Egodagamage from Rodrigo Club of University of Colombo School of Computing, and this is our 5th episode of our podcast, and I know you guys are so excited to meet our today's guest. So we have a wonderful guest joining us today, the lovely Miss Sanduni Kariyawasam. So we are so excited to have a female perspective on this show for the first time. So I think Miss Sanduni is the best person to do that. So she's an amazing person. So we can't wait you to meet her. So let's sit back and relax and have a fun and enjoying discussion with her. So talking about her, she is a highly motivated and hardworking personality, but a sweet and very friendly person to work with, and she believes in hard work makes the dreams and the goals come true. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
So she is currently work at IFS Sri Lanka as a UX designer. So hi Sanduni, welcome you to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, having a fun day so far, and really excited to be here as well.
Alright, so it's great to hear that. So I just gave a brief introduction about yourself to our audience. So can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
So kind of adding to what you just mentioned, I was a student of UCSC as well. So I graduated in 2021 with a BSc Honours degree in Software Engineering. And as you mentioned, currently working as a UX designer at IFS, which has been like really like a dream of mine, as working as a UX designer, and like generally working in the IT industry as well. Even during the school days, I was very interested in anything to do with computers, and like always running off to the computer lab whenever I can. But then again, like during like the last few years of schooling, I also found out like a passion for UX, like design in general. I didn't like know anything about UX design, and then like work my way through A levels to be here, and I just got that dream come true, and it was amazing.
Alright, so it is great to hear that. So you mentioned like it was kind of a dream in your school days to become in this field kind of thing. So did you have that ambition that the teachers asked us when we are little, what is your ambition to be? So was that your ambition in those
No, because it kept on changing. When you are small, it's always like, I think maybe it's like a Sri Lankan thing, that all you know about like being an engineer, lawyer, or a teacher. So when I was very little, I mostly saw teachers, of course, when we are schooling. So because of that, I wanted to be a teacher first of all. And then like during like middle school, like 6th grade, 7th grade, I found out a love for music. I started playing violin actually. So then the dream got a bit more specific. Oh, I want to be a music teacher, not just any teacher, just a music teacher. And then I actually like, we got a home computer for myself, and I was like doing everything with it. And it suddenly like music just kind of went away, and like computer was my world afterwards. So then I wanted to be a computer teacher again. And then I found out no, teacher, like being a teacher is not what I want. And I just heard about software engineering and this whole like amazing field, But then again, like I think when it comes to Sri Lanka, when people hear about like IT computers, it's again people know software engineers, but nothing more. But it's a vast field we have, like DevOps, software engineers, UX designers, like a lot of things are going on. And because I found design, once I got into university, I also discovered that the field of UX design like exists. And then I decided that's what I want. And thankfully after that, my dream has not changed.
All right, so that is so great to hear. So when you were doing your A levels, you had the passion for doing computer things and designing. Were you focusing on coming to the UCSC? Did you know about UCSC? And
Actually, yes, but everybody was saying like Moratu, University of Moratu is the place to go. Like all the very bright people go there. But I had heard about UCSC, and I was like, no, I think that's where I want to go. Like because I think the reason was kind of the degree here is called computer science,
Yes.
and that sounded more appealing than just IT. So computer science just sounded more fancy, I guess. So yeah, because of that, I really wanted to get here, and I ended up here as well. So that's a blessing.
all right, so going back to where you began your journey, how was your university days here?
It was challenging, first of all, I should say, because I don't think any of the degrees at UCSC is like a piece of cake. You have to put in your hard work. But hard work is not only what you put in here. It's not just the academic work. The academic work is of course challenging, but you get other things as well. Like the community feeling you have here is really great. That was probably the part I enjoyed the most. The friends, the mutual feeling of friends in the batch, that was just simply amazing. And whatever, like if you take a stumble, there's always a helping hand here, like whether it be like your friends, colleagues, seniors, even lecturers, you always know you can lean on someone to get that help from. And then the second thing that I mostly enjoyed about university was like we have a lot of clubs and societies and a lot of opportunities to like explore ourselves as an individual. And like we have a lot of leadership roles going on in these clubs, and you can just take part in those. And not only that, your lecturers and seniors and batchmates always encourage you to apply for like various competitions, hackathons and all. And that was simply amazing, and I really enjoyed that about university.
Fantastic. So as you have mentioned that there are so many clubs and societies and so many extracurricular activities to do in this university, you have done a quite lot, right? So if I can remember, you have been in the IEEE student branch, IEEE Computer Society chapter, ISEC in Colombo Central, and much more, right? So can you tell us a bit more about those
Yeah,
things?
so that was when you first come into the university in the first year, everybody's like you just can't do academics. If you want to go to the industry and do better and like make other people take notice of you, then you have to like participate in those clubs and societies. And the first thing that kind of like everybody hears about is ISEC, and everybody's like you have to go into ISEC. And so okay, I didn't even like starting out, I didn't even know about it, and they just had an induction day and I participated in that. But so I did like that for about a year, I guess. And then I found IEEE. So because it's towards the end of our first year where you can like kind of participate in IEEE. So then I joined the student branch that year as a designer actually. And like started helping out, and I found my kind of passion there because in ISEC I didn't like get the chance to help out with design or anything, so IEEE was that place for me. So I just started helping out with the student branch, and in the second year actually we opened the newly IEEE Computer Society chapter. So we were like the first executive committee in that, and I was the design master. So after that, I did 1 year of that as well, and after that again transitioned back to like having an executive position in the IEEE student branch back again. That was the third year, and then in the third year I kind of thought, oh, it's time to take a step back because fourth year is coming up, and that means you have a lot of hard work going on academically. So I think, yeah, even I can't remember half of the things I have done in university, because if a new society or club comes up, you just jump into it and start working. You don't really you don't even care if you get an executive position or not. If it's something that you feel like you might enjoy doing, you will go and just do it. So yeah, that's a little bit about that.
Alright, so great. So those are the things that remain with us, right? Not the not only the academics, the experience that we get from those things.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have mentioned that being in the university, it's hard work. It's not something come up easily, right? So university life is kind of roller coaster, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you might have some good memories and bad memories from that. So can you tell us something, one of your favorite memories in the university and one of the challenges, hardest challenges that you have faced?
Favorite memories. There are a lot of favorite memories going on, but I think not to be maybe too specific, but there are days where we had to spend overnight in the university. Maybe it's for a hackathon or for a period ceremony or something like that. But I don't think I have a specific memory of that, but all those nights spent at university is always fun, because you have a lot of friends around you, you have a lot of food going around, and just at night the university is just lovely, and it's so quiet as well, because there aren't many people walking around. So that means that you can just walk along by yourself and just take it all in. So that's kind of one of the fondest memories I have of the place.
And tell us a bit more, one of the toughest challenges that you had to face in the university.
That's an easy one, because that's actually third year. I'd say the whole of third year. Because what happens is, in the third year we only work for one semester only at the university, and during the next semester we are off in the industry doing our internships. So that means during the first semester we had a lot going on, and as I mentioned, in the clubs also we are holding really high positions in the executive committee, and so you have a lot more responsibility going around. It's not, you are not really hands-on at that point with the clubs, but that means you have to delegate the responsibilities, and events coming up, you have to make sure that the organizing committee is responsible for those are doing their work, and you always have to take that leadership role and be a leader, and keep in check that they are doing their job right. So that, but while balancing that, academically also third year was the toughest, because since we were not there in the second semester, that means all our academic work had to be completed in the first semester, and that means doing so many projects, and I think at some point we had to handle 10 or 12 subjects. So just imagine, because our in UCSC we don't really have most of our final grade depends on the work we do throughout the semester as well, with assignments and whatnot. So just imagine having assignments for 10 subjects at the same time. So that was a very tough period. But that means that you learn a lot from that as well, because once you go into the industry, you understand that it is a bit competitive there. You have tough deadlines coming up and all that. So I guess while we were being a bit complaining about the third year, it also kind of prepares you for the future as well. So yeah, that was a tough challenge.
In order to learn something good, we have to push our boundaries, right? Yes, of course. So as you were leaving the university to the industry, how did you find the difference between being in the university and the industry?
The difference is kind of, at university you always had someone to help you with. Maybe the lecturers are not there all the time, but you can always lean on your friends to help you out, because you are working on the same things, kind of maybe it be an assignment or a subject that you are struggling with, you can always reach out for help. So, but when it comes to being assigned for a project in the industry, sometimes you might be working a bit alone if you are because you, not everybody, not two people work on the same task. Sometimes it's only you alone working on that task. So in that case, sometimes you don't have anybody to ask help from, and it's kind of a self-revelation, and you have to find things of your own. And I think that's kind of the biggest challenge, not exactly challenge, but biggest difference between the university life and industry, I guess.
All right. So that normally the thing in everyone's mind is in the IT field. Once we are in the industry, we get we become unsocialized, kind of like we socializing become less, like we will miss our family, we will miss events and opportunities with our families. Mostly it's pressure work in the industry, right? So what is your perspective about that work life balancing in our industry?
Yeah, actually, when it comes to the IT industry, I think it's one of the worst places with work-life balance, to be honest. But because you are, like, I think even now, most companies still work from home after the pandemic hit, and you are very like disconnected from the rest of the world in that sense, because usually you will be like working 8 or even more hours than that, and you will be like just looking at your screen and alone in maybe your room, because you don't want like your family coming in and like disturbing you as well. So it's very hard to find that work life balance, to be honest. But my advice would be kind of try to make time for that, because at the end of the day you have to have your people around you, right? Your family, your friends, and like maybe even colleagues. You can make like connections at work too. A bit tough with the current situation of working from home. It's not as if you just like call somebody and like talk to them. If it was in the office, you just walk off to somebody's desk and talk. But I think you just have to like be conscious about the fact and try to make like yourself go up and talk to other people and make that time for other people, and try to like keep in mind that you are the one who is responsible for maintaining that work life balance and work accordingly.
So after the pandemic, most companies in the industry have turned up to work from home thing, right? So how do you find that? Is it a good thing or a bad thing in this industry?
In this industry, I think can go both ways, because all our company, like most, I think all of them are actually like based in Colombo, but the people working are from all over Sri Lanka. So that means have to either get like a boarding place in Colombo itself, or maybe if they are just outside of Colombo, they might like travel every day to work as well, and that's a lot time consuming. But because of working from home, it gives you the ability to kind of just focus on your work and just get rid of that traveling part. So in that sense, it is a good thing. But also I have personally like experience going into the office like only during the internship though, because once I started the job, I actually had to join in during the pandemic. So that means I have been working from home since the day one. But I have had that experience of work, like being in that like company culture, office culture during my internship, and that's such a lovely thing. You make connections with your like colleagues, and they actually even become your friends. And I think sometimes working alone, it kinds of stresses you out as well, but working in that office environment, it just kind of limits that stress and sometimes takes it out as well, because you can, when it comes to your work, it is kind of, a bit sensitive information might be going on, but your colleagues are always free to talk to you because it's in that safe office culture. So because of that, I'd say like there are both like good things and bad things about working from home. But in a personal opinion, I do like work from home just because I don't have to travel.
All right, so moving on with the question. So starting a new job, everyone has some expectations and goals, right? So as you are kind of new to the industry, what was your expectations when you just entered the industry, and right now where are you in your expectation cycle?
So when I first joined, I was a bit nervous, because IT industry is known for having too many deadlines and so many things going on, and it's really hard to find some time for yourself. So I was a bit nervous going in, but surprisingly it ended up being an okay position for me, maybe because I work as a UX designer, which is like notorious for being a little bit of a relaxed role compared to like being a developer. So now I'm not really like nervous at all about it, because it's going as planned and it's a very relaxed role. So that was kind of what came out of it.
All right. So in the future, in position wise, what is your expectations? Where do you want to be in like 5 years of time? What is your expectation?
5 years of time.
That's a long
That's a
time.
long time. So, but one of the dreams that I had when I was even in university, I always liked when people came into our university to do workshops and like do kind of like talks to us about like this industry and like UX design in general. And when I was in university, I was like, oh, I want to be that one day, and I think I kind of am that a little bit. But in Sri Lanka, I see a lot of like knowledge lacking when it comes to UX design. We don't have any forums where people like talk about it. We don't really have that community of UX designers in Sri Lanka, and I hope like I'm not sure if it's 5 days in the like 5 years in the future for me, but my hope is someday that I can bring about that community of UX designers in here somehow.
All right. So that is something great to hear. So as you are in the position of graphic designer, right? So tell us a bit about that to our audience. What are the good things and bad things about the position? Like what to expect if you are become a graphic designer
Yeah.
in the industry?
So graphic design is a little bit different to what I do. So I'll talk about user experience design. So user experience design is something that comes just before like developing a project. It's where you go out, like you think of a product idea and you go out and talk to other people and like see what they think of the idea. Would that idea help them to do some of their work day to day? So that part is actually something that we call as user research, and one of my favorite parts because it means that I get to like go and communicate with other humans, and I really like that about it. So once you kind of like talk to them about and get that their feedback and their ideas, then you can like start thinking about what actually would be a valuable product to put out to the community at large. So then you kind of start building that up, and you have to think of like how other people will use it, and what is like you have to think of every thing that will outcome from that. So that's kind of what my job is about. It's kind of like the step before development starts.
All right. After that, just you have to like give all the experiences that you have and skills, and just you have to develop that, right? All right. So another question is in the job market in Sri Lanka, mostly our jobs like software engineers, UI UX designers, mostly IT jobs are in the private sector, not only the government sector. So most of them are in the private sector. So what do you think about that? Will we be able to like make a good job market in the government sector too?
I'm not actually very sure about that, because even in the private sector sometimes it's very like unless the company really wants to have like an IT person, they wouldn't recruit it, and like government jobs are already hard enough as it is, and they don't I'm not sure about like the government sector really recruiting IT people, because they can get consultancy out of the private sector, and so yeah, I really don't see the market expanding there. I think it will keep to the private sector more.
So when comparing Sri Lanka to other countries, what do you think about the state right now in Sri Lanka, the job market in the Sri Lanka compared to other countries?
Actually, it's very good, because even like companies in the all over the world, they actually come to Sri Lanka for like IT support and like basically the minds of IT. So for right now, Sri Lanka is very comfortable in that sense. We have a lot of graduates going into the industry. So I think it's a very good industry to go into in Sri Lanka. But not sure about the near future, because there's a lot of like brain drain here. A lot of people are leaving, especially IT, because they know they can like find jobs overseas very easily. Everybody is just ready to recruit you. But and also like in the sense, I think Sri Lanka has higher job security right now when it comes to the IT industry, where you always hear about like other countries having layoffs, like even the big
Yeah.
companies like Meta and Microsoft and all. So right now Sri Lanka is a very good place to be in if you are in the IT sector. But yeah, not sure about the future with all the like government policies and economic policies coming into play though.
Yeah, let's see what is
Yeah.
going to happen. Like, let's hope for the best.
Let's
right?
hope for the best.
So next question is something you commonly hear from like mostly in the talk shows and everything. So what if you get that superpower to go back in the past? So is there anything that you will change for being today?
Be change. I'm very happy right now with how like my life has turned out. So nothing much, but I think I would like try like it's. I feel like sometimes I could have done more at university. There are always things that you miss out on, right? So from clubs and all, I just participated in that. But sometimes that means I had to like kind of not do things that was related to batch events and all. I had to miss out on those. So maybe I'd go back and do that.
All right. So as we are gradually coming to the end of our episode, is there anything that you want to convey to our audience and to the graduates, the undergraduates who are waiting to get out of the university and who are eagerly waiting to go to the industry and have that experience? Do you have any advice or anything to say to them?
Yes. My advice would be is not to be afraid to do anything you want. Just follow your passion, and the rest of it will all become clear to you. So that's my advice. Just follow your passion and be brave enough to do the thing that you are double thinking about, basically.
Alright, so that is a very good advice, of course. So, and as the final question, as we have come to the end of our conversation, can I know your thoughts about this project, like Koliki with a Non-Stranger project? What is your perspective? What is your idea about this project?
I really love it. When I first heard about it from you, I was very excited, and it's a great opportunity for like the current undergraduates to like know about the past alumni who have been at UCSC, and I hope that like the stories that we are telling helps to inspire them, because I know like my own seniors have done that for me. So I hope I can give that back to the current undergraduates. Really great project.
All right, thank you so much for that. So as we wrap up today's conversation with this fantastic episode, The College with a Non-Stranger, let's give a big round of applause to our amazing guest, our non-stranger, Ms. Sanduni Kariyawasam. So your presence have done an amazing work here in this episode. So thank you for being with us today in this
Thank
episode.
you for having me.
Right. So it was an absolute pleasure of doing this podcast, of doing this episode with her. So we want to thank everyone who has tuned in for our podcast, which is proudly brought to you by the Rodrigo Club of University of Colombo School of Computing. So without your support, this is not something that we can achieve. So if you have enjoyed our show, please leave a like and a comment right below, and stay tuned for more exciting personalities. Stay tuned for Meet Them. So we can't wait to bring a new personality in our next episode. So if you want to know who is that, please subscribe to our channel. So until we meet again, stay curious.